ABC 3340 News at 11 begins with breaking news.
Breaking this morning, the U.S. Supreme Court has overturned Roe v. Wade. This means there are no more federal protections for abortion, and states will now regulate abortion themselves.
The court has also voted to uphold a Mississippi law that bans abortions past 15 weeks and overturn Casey versus Planned Parenthood.
Governor Kay Ivey releasing a statement this morning saying in part, quote, "After almost 50 years of standing up for unborn babies, our prayers have been answered. This is a historic day, and I could not be more proud as a governor, a Christian, and a woman to see this misguided and detrimental decision overturned."
Governor Kay Ivey signed the Alabama Human Life Protection Act into law in 2019, which makes performing an abortion a felony in Alabama. However, a federal judge blocked that law from being enforced. Governor Ivey confirms today she will ask the state will be asking to have the injunction lifted.
President Biden is set to speak in just a few minutes. We will carry his statements live as soon as he steps up to the mic.
ABC 3340 News at 11 begins with breaking news.
We begin this half hour with our top story and new reaction. In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade.
This leaves abortion regulations now up to the states. The decision sparked alarm from supporters of abortion rights and celebrations from opponents.
This morning, the radical Supreme Court is eviscerating Americans' rights and endangering their health and safety.
This is a moment 50 years in the making. Millions and millions of innocent human beings were lost because of the Roe versus Wade decision, and I'm so glad that the justices actually established the justice and the rule of law in this land, and that so many millions of lives will be saved by this decision.
Many states, including Alabama, have passed trigger laws that ban abortion once Roe is struck down.
Alabama politicians are now speaking on this landmark decision, including Congressman Robert Aderholt. He says in part, quote, "Today is a watershed moment in the fight for life. The court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade is a landmark in the effort to protect the most vulnerable among us and guarantee their right to life and liberty."
On the other side, the chair of the Alabama Democrats, Representative Chris England, released this statement. He says in part, quote, "While the Supreme Court has turned back the clock decades on our freedoms, Alabama Democrats still stand strongly for Alabamians' freedoms to make their own medical decisions, especially their right to abortion," end quote.
ABC 3340 News at 11 begins with breaking news.
Breaking right now in Shelby County, crews are working to put out a fire in Pelham. You are taking a live look at the scene right now at Papa G's Billiards. This is on Chandelar Place Drive. Crews say that area has been safely evacuated. There are several businesses nearby. No word yet on exactly what caused that fire. We'll stay on top of this story. Again, we have a crew there live on the scene working to find out more information. We will update you as soon as it comes into our newsroom. Another update on breaking news happening right now in Shelby County. This is in Pelham. You're taking a look at the scene here from the air. Skyview drone 3340 getting these images. This is at Papa G's Billiards on Chandelar Place Drive. There is a fire, and we understand they have evacuated that area. There's a few different fire departments working the scene right now. Again, we don't exactly know what caused the fire, so we're working right now. We've got a couple of crews there on the scene working to get that information. As soon as we find out more information, we will pass it along to you. Stay with us. The news at 11. We'll be right back.
ABC 3340 News at 11 begins with breaking news.
We are staying on top of that breaking news this morning out of Shelby County. Right now, crews are battling a structure fire in Pelham. This is at Papa G's Billiards that is located on Chandelar Place Drive. Crews say that area has been safely evacuated. We know there are several businesses nearby. Officials have not yet said what caused the fire. We have a crew on the scene, actually a couple crew members on the scene working to get more details. We'll pass them along as soon as they come in.
ABC 3340 News at 11 is back now with breaking news.
We are continuing to monitor that breaking news out of Shelby County. We're watching that structure fire in Pelham. You're taking a look at Papa G's Billiards. This is on Chandelar Place Drive. And you're looking at video here from ABC 3340's Skyview 3 drone. Crews say that area has been evacuated. We know there are several businesses nearby and everyone was able to get out safely. We're watching this story closely and we'll bring you any updates as soon as they come into our newsroom.
This is ABC 3340 News Weekend.
Today marks 21 years since the deadly 9/11 terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001. Hijackers associated with the extremist group Al-Qaeda flew 2 planes into the World Trade Center's Twin Towers and another plane into the Pentagon. A 4th plane crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after crew members and passengers tried to rush the cockpit. Nearly 3,000 people were killed in all. Good evening, everyone. I'm Cynthia Gould. Many events are being held at the attack sites and right here in Alabama. Before we get to those local tributes, we start in New York. New video from the National September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York. Moments of silence were observed for the times the 4 planes crashed and when the Twin Towers fell. The first at 8:46 a.m. when American Airlines Flight 11 hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center. And the second was at 9:03 when United Airlines Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower. In Arlington, Virginia, President Biden took part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the Pentagon. The president, victims' families, government officials, and first responders held a moment of silence for those killed in the attack. Biden also spoke at the memorial.
It's not enough to gather and remember each September 11th, those we lost more than 2 decades ago, because on this day, it is not about the past, it's about the future. We have an obligation, a duty, a responsibility to defend, preserve, and protect our democracy.
First Lady Jill Biden spoke at a 9/11 memorial ceremony in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. That's the site United Flight 93 crashed, killing everyone on board. And in Alabama, people gathered in Jacksonville to remember a fallen son. ABC 3340's Aaron Wise joins us now live. And Aaron, Major Dwayne Williams died at that Pentagon attack.
Cynthia, it was the 20th year that this community gathered at this spot, a memorial dedicated a year after the attacks in honor of Major Williams and all of those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. Williams, a Jacksonville native, was working in the Pentagon for a 3-star general in 2001. Major Williams was there the day a plane flew into the Pentagon, killing him and 183 others. He was buried at Arlington National Cemetery, but his mother, Pearl, worked to have this memorial built in Jacksonville.
There's a lot of love here. Pearl wanted to make sure that there was not a shrine, but a memorial where people could come on days like this and remember Dwayne and his sacrifice and the sacrifice of the other 2,976 people who died. This is going to be a lasting memorial, a lasting monument to all of them.
I'm told whether it's the 22nd anniversary or the 122nd, community and family of Major Williams will never forget. I'll have more from the memorial service here at 10. Live in Jacksonville, Aaron Wise, ABC 3340 News.